I'm back. One of my viewers gave this the name of Car Chronicles. So we're going to call these Car Chronicles. So the question is do narcissists change for the new supply? First of all, understand that everybody is not a narcissist. A lot of people have narcissistic traits, but everybody's not a narcissist. Some people, they don't have the disorder. They just have toxic traits. Some of them are immature. Some of them are not ready for marriage or relationships or responsibility. Some of them are entitled. Some of them are spoiled little brats. But everybody is not a narcissist. And then what happens is they may meet a person, and that is the person that they want to change for. So they're not narcissists. They have narcissistic traits. So you can't victimize them or call them names or weaponize the name. They're just immature, and then they do change for other people. However, a person that truly has narcissistic personality disorder is not going to change. It is an ingrained trait. It is a personality flaw. It is a character flaw. It is a disorder. A disorder is an illness, meaning that there is something terribly wrong that affects them, that affects their environment and the people that they get in contact with or have relationships with. They have serious problems. The true nature of a narcissist, the true core of the narcissist, is a very low self-esteem, hurt individual that has a very fragile ego. So the true character of the narcissist is not even what they portray or what they show the whole world. They're like chameleons. They adapt to their environment. They take upon other people's characteristics, those strong traits that we talked about before that they really like. They take upon those strong traits and they mirror or they copy them or they emulate them. But that is not their true character. They make themselves bigger than what they really are. But a narcissist is not going to change. I have never seen a tiger wake up in the morning and decide, I'm not going to be a tiger. I'm going to be a puma. I've never seen a tiger wake up in the morning and say, I no longer want these stripes. Plus, on top of that, I'm going to decide to be a lion. Well, a narcissist who is not actually changing, they're just emulating, they're copying, they're mirroring, they're chameleons. They change with they don't change. They actually evolve with that environment. So whoever they get in contact with is the character traits that they pick up on or the character traits that they take upon. You know, one day you're married to a businessman, the next day he's a rapper, the next day you see them, they're a coal miner, who knows, they're a lawyer. They're so a lot of times you see them later on, you're like, this is not the person that I was married to or that I dated. What in the world? Because that's not their true nature. That's not truly them. They just emulate, they just adapt to whoever they attach to. So can a narcissist change, or will they change for the new supply? Absolutely not. That the new supply is ignorant just like you were. This is change for the new supply part 2, Car Chronicles. All right, as I was saying, that the new supply is just as ignorant as you were when you met the narcissist. Ignorant just means lacking knowledge. You don't really know or knew what you were getting into. No one came with an instruction book that says, hey, I'm going to get into your soul because I am a soul hunter. I'm going to tear up your mind and have you confused. I'm going to gaslight you. In that case, we probably would have said, nah, that's all right. You know, so the new supply, likewise, they were presented with you, the characteristics of you. So when they met that new supply, when they were love bombing that new supply, they presented themselves with your characteristics and, of course, other people. What was it? I forgot the name of that movie. Yeah, we'll come back to it. But, you know, they present themselves like Jeepers Creepers. Now, they have pieces and parts of other people's body parts. But the first person that they present themselves when they're presenting themselves to that new supply is with your characteristics. So the new supply is attracted to you. You know, they like your characteristics. And then when they're in there like swimwear, then they begin to mirror the new supply. But don't think for a minute that you went through what you went through and you think that the new supply is not going to go through anything, because you have elevated the game of the narcissist. I'm going to talk about that too. You've elevated the game of the narcissist. And when you elevated the game of the narcissist, there are things that they know not to do and what to do in order to get away with what they get away with. And they're coming in at a different level than they came in with you. They grew up into, what's the word? They grew into that behavior, that toxicity that they have. And so when they get with that new supply, they're coming in at a whole nother level that they were not with you. And so don't think for a minute that that mask doesn't fall off. Do you think that new supply is going to let people around them know that they made a mistake? Like they don't know? A lot of times they're just like you. They're having cognitive dissonance. They can't believe that they may have gotten right back into the same situation they may have left previously. Because if you don't wait and heal, you'll probably get right back into the same situation. Likewise for the supply. No different than the new supply. And then the new supply also becomes a flying monkey because you know that that narcissist is going to triangulate. Later on, as they know, it's not like they don't know. It's not like you didn't know. You have the red flags there, but the thing was is you were in denial. So is the new supply. So don't think for a minute that they've changed for that new supply. No, they're being their own narky self like they're supposed to. They're being the narc that they are. The narc that they have grown to become is the same narc and worse that that new supply gets. So do they change for the new supply? Absolutely not. Let's change for the new supply. Part 3, Car Chronicles. Okay, so how is it that the narcissists get so good at what they do? And why do they look different when they get with the new supply? Well, we've trained them. They get good at manipulation and what they do because we have trained them. You know, anytime researchers do research, they look for feedback. So that means that you have statisticians that send out surveys, but they get feedback, and then they look at the feedback, they look at the percentiles, they present the public with data, and you get feedback because it comes from people, you know, the feedback. You see, when you go to healthcare providers, you get feedback, or like Dash. Whenever you do Dash, you get feedback on the restaurant. You get feedback on the Dasher, right? So they have numbers. Well, we give them feedback too. Every time a narcissist gets caught, because they're gonna lie. They're chronic, compulsive liars. They're gonna lie. And what is it that people have a habit of doing? You are lying. They want to know the information that you have. They need feedback. And what do? I know you lying because I checked your phone. How'd you get my code? Don't worry about all that. They know that you got the code. Number 2, I know you lying because I rode by. I did this. I knew you were. You give them feedback. They're not listening because they want to change for the better. They're listening because they're trying to better the game. And so we provide them with feedback. So when a narcissist gets caught, or when you're with somebody and they get caught up, don't give them all the information. Don't give them all the information that you have, all your intel. Don't give the enemy intel so they can get better at what they do. You just let them know. You give them the facts. This is what you did. This is what you did at this and this time. You don't have to give them the information of where you, but a lot of times people try so hard to make sure that they prove, no, you are a liar, because I talked to so-and-so and this and that. So all you're doing is giving them feedback. And then the thing about it is it's like the tip of an iceberg. You're only giving them a third of what they actually did. So they're just getting feedback off of this part right here is what you do know. But all this down here is what you don't know. And so they just perfect all that up there that you did know. So every time they go to a new person, they perfect the game. They perfect the game of manipulation, and they know that next time I need to make sure I do this. Next time I need to use a thumbprint. Next time I need to do this right here and not talk to this person right here. Next time. And a lot of times they'll do things on purpose to see what information comes back to you. So you have to understand you're dealing with a very devious, manipulative individual. And when they get with that new supply, you've taught that narcissist how to manipulate even better and how to play the game even better. So it appears as though the relationship is much better, but it's not that the relationship is much better. It's just the fact that they're better at the game of manipulation, cheating, and whatever else they do. And supply doesn't know.